Anyways, we are getting ready to start our first match of the day, first semifinals match of two, first match of four of the whole day. Lowkey versus kW1st. We can throw it to the player profiles if we have those. We don't have pre-game analysis for you guys, as again we played those games yesterday. But these are some stats on Lowkey. Haven't looked at these in a little bit, but Lowkey and kW1st have never played each other in ranked last season. But Lowkey with our sub 13 average time, former top three in basically all major like short form 116 categories. Basically all major 116 categories except for AA. And a mid-8 time. It says former top three. I'm pretty sure his PB is still like sixth. So it's still impressively good. Sub 9 and ranked as well. Of course, our ranked 1 player from season 2. So he's been playing like it in the bracket as well.
Yeah, and next up we got kW1st here, who is the biggest Dugile fan, and I would like to note that he maybe is gonna be trying to avenge Dugile, right? Lowkey just beat Dugile, and that
True,
was
true.
so if you're the biggest Dugile fan and you're going against the person who just beat Dugile, I mean, you have a lot on the line. You have to defend his name, you know?
That makes a lot of sense. And yes, looking at the ranked statistics here, slightly worse stats across the board, but that hasn't stopped kW1st from getting this far in the bracket. You just have to play better than your opponent and show up when the time comes. And also, I mean, these stats are from season 2. It's been a few weeks since season 2 has ended. These runners have been definitely putting in practice for the qualifiers, for the round of 16, and then in the week between the round of 16 and the games yesterday. So this is by no means going to be a blowout match. Easily could see a game 5, and it's just going to be great Minecraft either way. So I'm ready to throw it over to our seed selection if we have those picks. We do. Beautiful.
Oh,
Wow.
Lowkey, what a legend.
A shipwreck pick. Crazy.
All right. I'm excited for this. Lowkey is just intentionally, giving the commentators what we want.
Our second shipwreck seed all event. And it's the first pick of the match, just like it was with Silver versus Mungie yesterday. Hopefully, Lowkey doesn't have the same experience as Silver did, where he lost 40 to 50 seconds in the overworld off the shipwreck. I mean, is it weird that like you're playing the shipwreck seed and they didn't play it at all yesterday? Neither of these runners played it last week, but it does show up a lot just in playing ranked. I think in Diamond, it's like 35% of the total seeds, or like 30% of the total seeds. Like almost half your ocean seeds will be shipwreck, as opposed to buried treasure. So it's like it shouldn't be that uncomfortable for the runners, but we saw Silver lose a lot of time yesterday to his shipwreck pick. So we'll see if that happens again today. Hopefully not. Close matches are funner to watch. I was gonna say I committed to the word funner and it was too late.
All
But I'm
right.
ready to go. This is exciting. For those of you guys
Yeah,
who
let's do
don't
this.
know about how, because I guess we do have a decent amount of new viewers today, the seed selection process chooses the type of overworld that the runners will play, basically how they're getting their iron source and how they're entering the nether. So it's not going to change the core parts of the run. You know, the nether, it won't like be modified at all based on the overworld pick. They won't have any info on that. They won't have any info on the end or the stronghold or anything like that. But gives the runners a little bit of decision making in the overworld, a little bit of not decision making, like insight into the overworld. And different overworlds can spiral into different effects on the nether. If you play a desert temple, for example, and you just have rotten flesh for your food, you're going to have to play a lot safer. Whereas if you pick a village, you can have 40, 50 bread, and you can basically take as much damage as you want as long as you don't fully die. So it matters more than you think, and also sometimes less than you think. Very interesting. But see, 10 and 5, nice, decent front load from kW1st. This is exactly what Silver did yesterday. He just has to remember to actually get logs from the shipwreck, which he's going to do. Well done from Quist. Different routing though, because Lowkey did front load with the wood axe. It's weird because the wood axe is obviously slower to mine logs than the iron axe, but if you're watching Quist's screen right now, it's pretty awkward to get these sideways logs and have to swim, pick them up in the water. They're going everywhere. You have to go back into like your pressure plate to craft on this crafting table, and then get more logs, and you have less logs. Like he's got 7 planks only. Loki has 22, so Quist is gonna have to get more wood somewhere if it's off of this tree, which is just a little awkward. So Loki's actually first to the magma ravine and is gonna be first into the nether because of this decision making difference.
Yeah, and I think the route of going for wood axe first is not always faster, but the one thing that it always is much less mental energy to figure out how. Like it's much easier mentally.
Just chop like
It's
one or
just
two trees, you get to
you
look
don't need
around
to
as
think
well.
at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, there's so much less thinking involved that it's just, very, very straightforward.
Yes, it really the decision just depends on like how far the shipwreck is. Even sometimes like if the shipwreck didn't have enough iron for an iron axe at all and you had to make a wood axe, then it's just the decision is very weird in the first place. And these runners synced up. Streams are a little desynced. They're kind of in the same spot, but I think Loki's a few seconds ahead. Hopefully, it won't matter. You can look at the timers on their instances to see. I think Loki is 3 to 4 seconds behind, so maybe look to get that fixed soon. But we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen any match come under 5 seconds, like difference between the runners. We've seen Silver lose a match against Manji yesterday, or a game, I should say, within 10 seconds, but wasn't insanely close. But it does happen. There are multiple clips of people losing ranked matches seconds before the dragon dies. Even sometimes I've seen maybe 2 or 3 times where people have lost when their end portal is open and they've actually went to the overworld and lost because their opponent has finished on like the same exact game tick, and it just comes down to like your ping to the ranked server, which is so crazy to me that two people can be so evenly matched.
That is
But
wild.
as I've been blabbering, I don't know what happened, but Loki's found just some much better terrain to the Bastion than Quist has. I know Quist spent some time getting pork chops, and Loki's just on the bread, but it didn't feel like that much time lost to get the food. But Loki is easily 20 to 30 seconds ahead here, already starting our manhunt housing route, going up to the Fui backup blocks. He's going to be out of this Bastion 30 seconds before Quist, assuming both of them play it optimally.
Yeah, I think that just comes down to, routing in a way that is, efficient. And I think a lot of times when people see a lot of lava, they see, a lot of parkour that has to be done. I think it's very easy to go slower, and that's sometimes safer and correct, but it looks like Lowkey just found a much faster route that was, I guess, he was comfortable doing.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the runner's food situation a little more, and I don't really understand why Quist decided to kill the Hoglins for food, and he might just be dead. Hard to tell through the lag, but ooh, 2.5. He's got it pre-dug out, so he should be fine. I was gonna say, doesn't really make sense for him to grab food. He has 10 bread and 5 carrots, which can be made into golden carrots, which are better food sources than basically every other food item in the game, other than a golden apple or an enchanted golden apple. So, 10 bread and 5 golden carrots will get you through the run 100%. And if you're not getting through the run with that much food, you're losing basically. If it's taking you that long and that much damage to finish the seed, the other player, unless they fully die, you won't need the food. Um, so I'm not sure why he decided to kill the hoglins and get the food as opposed to just killing them and running away, or like leaving the lava bucket and running, or just running past them in the first place. Not entirely sure, but I just can't see the pork chops being necessary in addition to the bread and the golden carrots. Maybe if you just had the golden carrots or you just had the bread, but overkill of food, I would imagine. And looks like Loki's out. A little bit of a unfortunate pearl hang as he has to swim up in this lava. So 5-10 second time loss, and it's weird terrain here that he's kind of just gonna have to suck it up and build up. But we'll see when he spots the fort and when he can get to the fortress. Quist is leaving. Quist is leaving on.
Yeah, I
Did I read that right? I don't have my inventory viewer pulled up. He might be leaving on 15 pearls only.
maybe just to try
I don't
and
know how
catch
many
up a little
Lowkey
bit.
has. I thought he double stack split. Yeah, Lowkey's got 2 stacks of pearls. I think Quist only has 1 stack of pearls and like 14 or 13 at that. So it's very almost not zeroable and much slower, but gonna have to get another look at his inventory to be 100% sure. Very interesting. But he did
Yeah,
make up
no,
time,
just
so
14. Just 14. You're right.
yeah. It could be why he made up some time,
Yeah, that definitely why.
um, not waiting for as many trades or not getting backup blocks. I know he hasn't been getting housing backup blocks in previous matches, and they might just completely punish him and make him lose this match today. Like
Yeah.
if it's a 0-eye, you only have 2 spare pearls. That's just not even zeroable half the time. If it's back and like back any cage, any back tower, is basically just not zeroable. So
Yep.
I don't know how he lost a full stack of pearls over Lowkey. Like I guess if he made golden carrots, but he didn't even make the golden carrots. He has 4 spare gold. I think he just didn't get the backup blocks.
Yeah, I
He
think
didn't
I
get
think
them
he just left
yesterday.
a little bit
Yeah, I
sooner
mean
or something. I don't
he
know.
just did manhunt, so it's only 9 gold blocks there instead of 12 when you count the
Right.
backups. So figure that that's just what happened. And so it's just basically gonna not be zeroable. Looks like Lowkey has 4 beds, 3 anchors. I think he can even make a fourth if he wanted to. But 7 explosives is more than enough for 0. And yeah, I mean if it's zeroable and Quist can't zero because of the pearls, or he has to throw any pearls at all to get to second portal instead of just running. Can't see the Ninbot distance exactly because it's like 2 pixels in the top right, but it looks to be at least 4 digits. Well, I mean, it can't be 5. It looks like maybe 1,000 something, and so not being able to pearl that in the Nether is very unfortunate. And if there's any eye breaks, if it's any like 0-eye or like just not a good situation. And Lowkey has 7 rods, and he can just leave these eyes too. Doesn't even have to pick them up, or if they both break or anything like that. He's got so many spare pearls to use. Oh yeah, that's I think that says 1,600. Looks like he's gonna maybe throw another eye. I mean, he's got the rods to do it. No problem at all. Might as well double check. Oop, might as well double check and not miss. I
Probably
don't see how
smart.
Lowkey doesn't have a massive advantage right now in this
No, I think
seed.
he
I mean,
does.
he's already
I
going
just
to
think he does,
towards
right?
not even just the time advantage, but
Yeah.
the material advantage with the 0. I mean, I would be still confident in his win if he was a minute behind at this point, just because of the presence of that 0 cycle
Yeah, I
versus
mean,
a normal 1 cycle or half bow.
this is gonna be hard. I mean, we've seen it multiple times where we say, "Oh, this person can't lose," and then they lose. But yeah, right now this is looking pretty good. We'd have to see something surprising happen essentially for Quist to take this first seed. Could be a bad stronghold. It could be, a really slow perch if the 0 doesn't work out. But I mean, yeah, it's looking pretty solid here for Lowkey. I will say
Yeah,
the one thing is, 0 is notably harder with nerves, and
true.
I do think it's something to really consider that, we've seen a lot of very good 0 cycles, very good 0 cyclers mess up 0 in this tournament. And I think a lot of that comes down to nerves. I mean, not entirely, of course, but I think a lot of it does. And so, it's something that we shouldn't take for granted, that we shouldn't expect them to always get it right. Like it is very, very missable,
Yes,
especially on nerves. So definitely something to keep in mind as well.
fully agree that. I mean, like I'd say the biggest reason why players win or lose matches, like the biggest single mistake in most matches is just 0. Like someone misses
Yep.
the 0 or someone doesn't go for it or something. I feel like it's the most common mistake. And is he even going to go for the 1 and 8? I guess he doesn't know how far ahead he is. Like you can look a little bit at the splits. But he's going to 92. It's the right height. He's got time. And he's got explosives. It is always a little weird on 1 and 8, but I respect the play, especially if you hit this as well. Very good for the mental. And I mean, like I said, he's got 7 explosives. He's on pace to finish it in 6. Yeah, should be great. Has to back up and watch out for the dragon, but he's good. Has fire res too, so not even worried about that fire. And he's got health to pearl down. Doesn't even have to boat. Doesn't have to hit a water bucket clutch with the empty bucket. And that's gonna be seed 1 for Lowkey. Sub 12. And it was, I mean, it was basically
Enderman
over.
on him though. Oh my god.
He looked at it. He looked at Enderman. I didn't even
Yeah,
see that.
Enderman chasing him on 3 hearts.
Oh my god. He's safe though. Took the dub. And I think it was over as soon as Quist has just 1 stack of pearls. We just forgot to split the pearls or missed the trades because of no backup blocks. Whatever it was, wasn't entirely sure about the mistake, but it was just over. You don't
Yeah.
have pearls to get the second portal quickly. You don't have pearls to waste on missed eye throws. It's just, yeah, I mean, Lowkey ahead, entering Bastion by a lot. I think that was the Hoglin time loss that we saw. 30 seconds between the Nether and the Bastion enter. Saved by Lowkey, and then lost all that time back getting to the fortress, but Quist just had no pearls. So is that why he was 30 seconds faster? And it was just,
Yeah,
it
I
didn't
think
matter
that's
at
a
all. Like
fair thing to say. Yeah.
it's sort of like misleading splits in a sense that there was just no reason why Quist should have left on 16, especially if
But
there
yeah,
was more gold to trade or pearls to split. And yeah, he's just got to fix that mistake for next time. I don't know.
it's that sort of pace versus material advantage that you talked about. In this case, Quist had both the pace and the material advantage of having the 0 and the pace, but I mean that's not super uncommon that a runner will sacrifice having some stuff in order to go a little bit faster to catch up if they're behind. So it's definitely not like surprising or shocking to see that, but definitely what happened there. Um, and yeah, I mean, we saw Quist go, or not Quist, Lowkey go for the 0 cycle, got it off. So that, I mean, not that it was necessarily needed, but we saw how much faster it was with those materials.
Yeah, we've seen people when they're so far ahead sometimes just not go for 0 when they know that their opponent hasn't blinded or hasn't gotten to the fort even. But I think Twist had blinded in that seed when Lowkey was in the stronghold and entering the end. So he might have felt pressured, like maybe he's right on me in the stronghold and he gets in the end within 30 seconds. Like maybe you have to 0. I think that's what he was thinking. And if you're confident in 0 and I mean you hit it, it gives you that mental boost. Like I hit the 1 and 8, it's not that much harder than just normal towers, but
Yeah,
it is just a longer speed bridge and you just got to look at chords, juggle some blocks. The timing is different. So he hit it, good mental boost going into seed 2, which is a ruin portal pick from Quist. Nerdy, what do you think? Again, this pick is a little always weird and awkward as there's only 2 choices left in seeds, but what do you think?
yeah. I mean, not too much behind this pick. I think it's really just kind of, you know, choosing between maybe a slight preference at most between Rune Portal and uh, what is it, Village. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess you just pick Rune Portal. Maybe in the last seed there's a lot of food, and you're confident in your foodless runs. So you're like, okay, well, I lost when there was a lot of food. Maybe I can win if there's not no food. Um, so there's a lot of ways to think about it. But at the end of the day, I think really what's going on here is it's just sort of a preference, a small preference over Village. You know?
Yeah, completely agree. And they're gonna have to play both seeds anyways. So we're
Yes.
gonna see a village seed next, regardless of the outcome. We'll get to see 3 seeds in a best of 5 anyways. But here's our room portal seed. These are fun to me because they have potential to be incredibly fast sometimes. This one, oh, still is 54 nuggets. This is not a chest. This is like a God Room Portal chest minus the food. You have a full tool set, a light, and a bucket and a pick worth of iron. Like, it's
Wow.
just the filters for the room portal chests in ranked are insane. Like this would be like a legacy like once a year chest that you would get doing regular runs. I think
Yes.
I can count on one hand the amount of times I've gotten a room portal enter that I've like genuinely enjoyed in regular runs. Anyways, looks like Lowkey found a cow. Both these runners gonna be looking for food. As like I said, none in the chest. Steak, maybe the second best like common food source behind golden carrots. You can really argue how common golden carrots are, but getting this food is very important as it's very hard to play damageless because pearls are just default damage. Did Quist spill? Okay, he's good. But it's a top slab. I think he's confused. That's why I was interested. Did Lowkey spill? Neither of them spilled, but it's a top slab. Is Quist going to still commit to it? I don't know if he digs this, if it spills or not. It's very risky. I like what Lowkey did here and just did it on the side. But it looks like if you just mine the top slab, it's good. So
Hey,
Quist pushing through
it
it and gets
worked.
in first. Yeah, few second difference, but we've seen that it could matter potentially. The only other difference in this overworld, apart from food count, but it's a 9 versus 8 stake, not a big deal. Lowkey did grab the gold block in the Ruin Portal, and Quist didn't. So, apart from having 9 extra gold worth of trades, which can potentially matter, the bigger thing in my head in ranked seeds, which doesn't matter again as much, you can make 3 extra gold pickaxes, which is a stack and a half of netherrack, but more importantly, it lets you insta mine through 48 blocks of a wall if you need to. And we can already see Lowkey using the gold pick from the rune portal to get netherrack for the blocks. And it's just a lot better than building using your wood. It's a very comfortable block to have. Having blocks in most bastion routes isn't usually super necessary, but if you get in any sort of sticky situation with piglins just being weird, looking at you funny, jumping around, like blocks will get you out of basically any situation ever if you have enough. So nice to see the blocks from Loki.
Very good distraction as well from Quist. I felt like I was convinced he was going to take some damage there, but just very elegant usage of the gold and taking no damage up the treasure.
100%. This route's been the same in Treasure for maybe a year or two. I know there's been some recent developments in a Pigfall route for the Stables Bastion, and there's a lot of different variation in bridge routes. Housing routes can go either way where you put your hole, but this treasure route is pretty widely used by most runners. There is a two-egg variation that's a little bit safer and a little bit slower, but if runners get good enough at this variation and the piglins decide to actually look at the gold instead of being stupid, then you basically take no damage if you do it perfectly, which both runners executed very well. Even though it doesn't really matter because they have 8 stake, which is more than enough for the whole run. Especially if the fort is close, everything's close, normal ranked gameplay. Very nice food source from both runners. What's the obby situation looking like? Okay, gonna get 20. Sometimes treasure is weird and ranked getting 20 obsidian. There's only 5 obsidian guaranteed out of a bastion chest. So if you only get that 5 obsidian, you need 15 from trades. And sometimes that's not possible with the amount of gold blocks in upper treasure. So not going to see that weird sort of difficult decision making there, home portal versus lower treasure for
Right.
20 gold blocks. And I am interested to see though, yeah, it looks like Lowkey is going to go to lower treasure and pearling out because it was a pretty like enclosed nether with no real spot to the fortress, but Quist is not. Oh my god, look at the zombie pigs down here for Lowkey. 2RD moment, but he's going to break this spawner so he can pyre. And imagine there's a looting sword. No looting sword. I was going to say, if there is a looting sword, it's just over. But there's not. However, Lowkey's going to have info on where the spawner is. Quist has no idea. He's just going to be guessing based on how
Yeah.
quadrants and structure generation works in the nether. You can get a very good guess, especially with ranked as well. The way that the seed filters work, it should be close to the treasure. It can't be more than 17 chunks away, and it should be very open terrain. And he might have found it here. No. Oh, he's at 0, 0, so maybe he sees it, but all this time he left the Bastion early, and he definitely has like the correct stuff to leave the Bastion early this time. Didn't leave on low pearls, didn't leave on low string or anything like that, but he doesn't know where he's going. If he wants to Pyre, the Magma Cube spawner in the Treasure Bastion is going to be picked up. He has no idea where the fortress is, and Lowkey's got the exact direction, and he finds it. Lowkey finds
There
it
you
in a
go.
Crimson Lava Sea. Quist has no Crimson on his screen at all. So
Yeah, it's that
we
risk versus reward, right? Like it was just a big risk to not break the spawner, and I mean, it could have been faster. It genuinely could have if he just went the right way. But unfortunately, no, it's looking pretty
Wow,
bad
and
here
look at
for
that
Quist.
Pyre. Quists is pointing 16 chunks, more negative X. This is going to be an extra regional fort. So if it is actually a fort
Ooh.
and not a treasure, he's not actually that far behind, maybe only 20, 30 seconds. And if Lowkey plays perfectly, that might be all he needs. But going to different strongholds 100% is weird. We've seen a lot of matches just completely be determined by someone whiffing preemptive, getting bad nav, getting bad terrain to the second portal, stuff like that. And yeah, Quist does find a fort, so he is behind. I mean, Lowkey, I felt like entered this fortress like 30 seconds ago, and he's got 10 eyes already. So either the rates are really good or he got crazy strays. I was watching Quist nav in the basalt, but Lowkey crushing this fort so far, and if he's got good enough terrain to second portal and his stronghold works, could be over.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but I'd be pretty frustrated if I was Quist right now, just in the fact that like I feel like both matches he's just kind of been outpaced really. Like it's not even like a death or anything. It's just he's just been outpaced really.
Yeah, and it's hard to sometimes see where the mistakes are. Like when we're watching both
Yes.
perspectives, we can see in seed one it was just mainly not getting two stacks of pearls that sort of blew up as a major mistake. And here it's just not breaking the spawner that again blows up as a major mistake. Um, which again still could be beneficial to him. I think Lowkey's second portal is 1,700 blocks away from his first one, which again is only 200 in the Nether, but and it does look like good terrain though. So he has the pearls, has the food to cover the distance, but it could still be weird stronghold nav. Again, we'll see. Not sure. Still can happen. I mean, we've seen people die in zeros. We've seen people die after the dragon's dead in zeros as well. So not completely over, but we're running out of time for Quist to catch up on this seed. It's only so much Minecraft left to play.
Yeah, I mean, here's the stronghold. If you get a disgusting stronghold here and you're low key, and you get a really good stronghold and blind here for Quist,
Yeah, his spikes aren't
maybe.
looking amazing. Potentially some mineshaft interference here in the stronghold or some mobs. So honestly could be a little weird for Lowkey here. He wasn't confident on his spike, and looking at his numbers, it didn't look too appealing either. But there is also only so much stronghold to navigate. Like at some point, you will just be like have it explore the entire stronghold. But
There
he's
it
found the
is.
portal room. A little bit of a weird wormhole, but it works. And Quist is going to second portal cords, but if Lowkey enters the end at zero ball and he's got the explosives, two anchors, six beds. I mean, he hit a six explosive zero last time, and maybe doesn't even need two of these. Makes the seventh bed for security. I like that play as well.
Yep.
And it's open. Tall front tower, though. Gonna need a precise second pearl. A little bit of weird terrain there. Nice pearl there as well. 100, though, and I thought it was
Hmm.
97, so not good enough. Could be because of the weird sort of terrain where his first pearl landed a little shorter, and it's now not completely over for Quist.
Yep. And you know, and another thing to keep in mind is, you know, he takes out that crossbow, you get that advancement, and now Quist knows for 100% sure that Loki is not going for zero.
100%.
So
Yeah.
that's something to keep in mind. You know, you have the opportunity now to take advantage of that.
Yeah. And I mean, if Quist finds the portal room quickly, and is able to enter with the zero. It's 50 seconds to a minute. But as I was gonna say, Lowkey did half boat. You will just get a perch at some point, and it doesn't even matter. I think if Quist instant have this stronghold, it still wouldn't be good enough.
Yeah, there's the
As
perch.
Lowkey gets a fast half boat perch. I mean, hit the crystals well. It's what you got to do, and then it's just all up to RNG. And he got a little lucky, but gave
I
himself the
mean,
lead in the seed. That even though he whiffed the zero pearls, it was enough to take seed two and could be a potential commanding 3-0 first semifinal series today. What do you think about these splits, Nerdy? What do you think about the runners from this
yeah,
one?
I don't
Place.
mean to be I don't mean to be like too pessimistic here for Quist. I just and Quist is not playing bad. That's the thing that I'm kind of saying. Is like I don't see anything that's like, oh my god, horrible play. Like I mean, yeah, sure, not bringing the spawner is probably a mistake, but I'm seeing like pretty good gameplay from Quist, and then Loki just looks sharp. Loki just looks really sharp today, and it's sort of hard for me to nitpick too much at Quist when I don't know. So my point, what I'm trying to get at here is that I think Loki, if Loki keeps playing like this, I think it's going to be very, very, very hard for Quist to win the next three in a row.
Yeah, I don't doubt that Quist can take a seed, and Loki's been playing very well. And I don't doubt that Quist can like match that. I know he can match that. We've seen him match that against similar caliber players in the round of 16 and the round of 8. But when you're faced with a situation where you need to win 3 seeds in a row, you need to win 2 seeds that your opponent can pick um, from the seed types, from your band types, even. And especially when you don't really know, it's not really apparent why you've even lost these 2 seats, right? Like just one small mistake in both seeds for Lowkey or for Quist, sorry, is what it kind of feels like, and it just spirals. And so you have to sort of reflect and be like, I've been playing well. Other than that, iron out this mistake. Maybe just focus a little more on the small decision making or stuff like that, and then I think he can match pace and give Lowkey a run for his money. Try to not make it a 3-0. It is possible. We almost saw a reverse sweep yesterday with the Dougal Lowkey match. Lowkey did go up 2-0, and Dougal won 2 seeds in a row to bring it back to a game 5. So Lowkey's been in this situation before, and he has lost 2 seeds in a row to give himself a little
True.
bit of a scare. So we'll see. But I
But yeah.
think we are ready
Yeah, we are
for
good.
our mid-match analysis segment. If you guys are new with us, we actually break down what these runners can do in more detail with some clips, with some reviews. So we're going to send it over to Fulham with our mid-match analysis of the Lowkey quiz match before Game 3.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are going to be doing some analysis midway through of each seed. And as it is now match point to Lowkey, I wanted to go through those first 2 seeds and look at some of the decisions that were made by some of the runners just to kind of break certain things down. Now, honestly, these 2 seeds were played almost as cleanly as possible for Lowkey, but there was a few things that I just wanted to say about Quist's perspective that may have caused some issues potentially with the rest of the run. So here we're going to go back to seed number 1, where he decided to go for this Hogling kill. Now, I don't believe he does actually open his inventory at all here, but if we look at this, he takes damage before getting to this bastion, gets hit 3 times and is down to only 6 hearts before we start on the bastion route. He sees 3 more Hoglins to his left and decides to pillar up here and go for a couple of Hoglin kills, which is not a bad play by any means, but it does take a long time. Whereas we look in his inventory here, we actually notice the fact that he has 11 bread in the middle, and he also has 5 carrots. Now, of course, these can be turned into golden carrots once we get into the bastion, meaning that he has substantial food for the rest of the run, for the zero cycle, for the fortress, for absolutely everything. So, in hindsight, once you actually notice the fact that his inventory is stocked full of food, there's not much of a point for him to be doing this. Initially, it may seem sensible because it doesn't seem like a huge time loss, and in most circumstances, it's not going to cause the difference between a winning or losing a seed. But in this case, it lost a decent chunk of time, roughly around about 30 seconds. The axe comes out to try and swing at these guys so that he doesn't burn any of the food, really looking to try and make that count. But we can see it does waste around 30 seconds, and he's not in the Bastion yet. So, again, it's just a small bit of time that he's lost before even getting to the Bastion, and then we're looking at this next clip, whereby we see that after his trades, he hasn't decided to make the golden carrots, which makes sense. He doesn't need to make the golden carrots because we've got a bunch of pork chops. But here, kW1st does not get any of the backup blocks. Looking and analyzing his inventory, we can see he still has a bunch of bread, a bunch of carrots, these arguably unnecessary pork chops, but only 16 pearls we can see in these two slots of his inventory. He has split the pearls, so he's not actually lost any trades. There's no trades that have gone astray in that hole. However, we noticed that he just has fewer trades than may be expected. We can see a lower string count than you might expect as well. Meaning that because he hasn't got those backup blocks, but we saw that Lowkey did, it's going to allow him to travel faster for the rest of the seed, go quicker. And that was really what the difference came down to, in my opinion. It's the fact that Lowkey spent a little bit of extra time going for the gold blocks, whereas kW1st went for a little bit of extra time going for more food. The extra gold blocks were super necessary so that he could travel faster. However, Lowkey going for extra food was arguably unnecessary because he had substantial food before entering. That was pretty much the end of Seed 1. There was a very, very clean zero cycle for Lowkey to finish it off, and that's the final clip here. Was a really nice 1 in 8, which arguably he didn't have to go for, as the commentators did discuss, because we can see here on the splits, which is what Lowkey can see. We can see that kW1st has not yet found the stronghold. He hasn't actually hit I Spy yet, so he's able to understand he is substantially ahead of his opponent, and he could decide to play safer. He doesn't on this seed, which I think actually boosts his confidence more than anything. Going into the second seed, I think knowing that you've hit that 0, knowing you've absolutely gapped your opponent is going to give you that mental boost and could cause kW1st to spiral into a sense of tilt. And we see the start of Seed 2, Lowkey starting to play a little bit more conservatively, going for the slightly safer strategies, going down to the bottom of treasure, and deciding to break this spawner, allowing him to guarantee the knowledge of where the fortress is going to be. Now, this play is interesting because you're going to see a lot of these runners using a strategy called Paidar, whereby you can locate a spawner in the nether. However, in the treasure bastion, you notice that there is an annoying spawner right at the bottom down here. Lowkey decides to go out of his way to break this such that you're able to guarantee to find the fortress. As the commentators did note, but kW1st was actually unable to find the correct fortress, instead going to a much, much further away fortress that we're going to actually notice here. And when he pulls out his calculator to measure where the stronghold is, in the top right corner of my screen, it is probably going to be quite small for you. The nether coordinates for his second portal are minus 640, which is obviously a second ring stronghold. Now, this stronghold is not going to be checked. This stronghold is not going to be the intended stronghold, simply meaning that kW1st is going to have to travel further, use more pearls, use more distance. And as we see, while he does this, I Spy has been mentioned in the chat for Lowkey. So Lowkey is already so far ahead. And from that decision, because Lowkey is so far ahead of his opponent, again, decides to this time go for a safer play of a 1 cycle. Versus what he could have done with a 0, a slightly riskier, I think it was a 97 height 0, which is not probably 100% guaranteed. This is what is going to be tough now for kW1st. For him to be able to come back and hit a reverse sweep here on a best of 5, it's going to be tough. We've seen Lowkey make very, very few mistakes, going for arguably slightly safer strategies in that second seed, and that's all we can hope as if you're coming into this third seed as kW1st. You need to hope Lowkey goes for 2 safe strategies and kW1st has to have the cleanest run of his life. And just to be able to gap that. That's all he can do. It's a really, really tough comeback for kW1st. I just do think that Lowkey has the ability, as the number 1 seed going into this tournament, Lowkey can definitely just pull out a clean run and can definitely see this one finishing in a 3-0. But Chris always has a chance. Lowkey could make a mistake. We haven't seen many mistakes from Lowkey throughout the tournament, but we have seen a few. Will there be any in this third seed? I'm going to pass this back over to Feinberg and Nerdy. So, match point to Lowkey.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And I definitely have to agree with Fulham that if Lowkey plays well, like no mistakes. We really haven't seen any mistakes out from Lowkey, like major mistakes on the scale of the decision making that kW1st has made. So could be a potential quick 3-0 victory for Lowkey. But I like to see a good series. Like to see a best of 5. Hopefully kW1st can run it back. They are going to play a village seed. We can throw it over to the seed selection, but it is the final seed type available from the 5 seeds. 2 seeds get banned, 3 seeds get played, and then if we need a seed 4 or a seed 5, then we get to pick from the 5 seeds available. They kind of like refresh, but kW1st is forced into the village. Maybe didn't want to play it. I mean, he didn't ban it, didn't ban Buried Treasure, but it is the last seed type. He did pick Rune Portal before village, so not sure if he's too happy with this decision, but he's got to make it happen. Has to win 3 in a row, so it starts with this village seed, Nerdy. Do you think he can do it?
Honestly, based on today's performance from both players, I think this is going to be a 3-0. And I don't mean that kW1st can't do it. He totally can. But Lowkey's just been on fire today. He's just been absolutely on fire. So maybe kW1st can prove me wrong, took a break, refocused, and is ready to go. But honestly, I am expecting Lowkey to take the seed as well. I hate to be a hater, you know? That's not as an exciting of a match, right? A 3-0 is less exciting than like when it goes back and forth, game 4 or 5. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like personally, I feel like Lowkey's just looked really sharp today. And kW1st has made, you know, these small mistakes adding up like Fulham was talking about. Yeah, that's my expectation.
And if you're making mistakes from or against someone who's playing perfect, you can't do that. It's just gonna lose you the match. And so
Yeah.
that's what's happening right now in this Lowkey versus kW1st. kW1st is making just 1 or 2 mistakes a seed, and if Lowkey's playing perfect, that's enough. And other seeds and against other players, kW1st could be winning these seeds, could be winning this match 2-0 instead of losing it 0-2. But it's not how it's shaking up.
Yeah. Chat's got me giggling. I'm
I
sorry.
know it's like it's a feedback loop where they say hold it in,
Dude,
and then it gets funnier, and then
it's the exact same thing of when, you know, like someone says something that you shouldn't laugh at, or like you're in class, you know, something like that, and you just
yeah,
can't.
it's like funnier because of the circumstances
Yeah, exactly,
where
exactly.
you're kind of stuck. I can relate. Oh my god, there's a rune portal here for Lowkey. Don't even need Flynn. Surely kW1st will see this as the sort of intended enter. Glistening melons, great food source there. I'm actually completely lying. Not edible. Did you know it's called glycering melon slice? Most people think it's maybe called glistening melon because I think glycering melon. I looked this up the other day.
Wait,
Glycering is like an older version of the word glistening. Like they mean the same thing.
has it never been
And
glistening?
I think it maybe was before like 1.2.
That is
I'm not
crazy.
sure 100%, but I know they changed it in like 1.12 to
That's
glycering melon
crazy.
slice, which
I didn't
implies
know
that
that.
there will be glycering melon block,
True.
but there's not
True.
glycering melon block. And I think they maybe changed it because they might have changed the name of regular melon slice and melon block. Like that might be different. You know what I mean? I think the melon block is just called melon. And I think the melon was changed to melon slice. I think it used to be melon and melon block, but now it's melon slice and melon. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, sorry. Lowkey in the Nether first by about 15 seconds, but kW1st did find the room portal, so he's got an early lead going into the Nether, and when Lowkey's had an early lead in these first 2 seeds, he's just been able to capitalize off of it and win the whole seed because of the no mistake gameplay that he's been implementing today. Very, very nice strategy from Lowkey. No mistakes. I think it's working pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Oh, ancient debris. Farmberg, you'd be so
What?
excited.
Dude, I'm grabbing my water bottle. 1 out of 20. He can go back for that on the way
Yeah.
to the stronghold if he only gets 19 from the TNT line. Dude, I haven't gotten like a, oh my god, it's been so long actually since I've gotten a like natural ancient debris. I don't know if I've ever had one from just like mining netherrack, like on the ground, like not a blaze bed or not stuff like that. That's actually super rare. This
But
guy's
hey, look
so
at this.
lucky.
Meanwhile, kW1st is ahead at this point.
Yeah, and this is lava housing though, which is really
Ooh.
awkward. And both these runners, like, there is weird lava housing routes. As someone who is very up to date on Minecraft technology, I have no idea what to do when there's lava housing.
Yeah.
It's like I just wouldn't be able to tell you at all. So
Well, that's fair. I mean,
the upside is that both these runners definitely know that it's lava housing because you have so much time to build up, and it's good that they both got lava housing. It's very weird sometimes. Minecraft has weird generation order with chunks occasionally, so there have been tournament seeds, there have been seeds where one runner will get lava housing and the other one doesn't. But I'd say in this specific situation, you guys may know me as a lava housing hater. Some what's the word, some harsh opinions back in the day. kW1st is dead. Magma cube, reset seed, building over to manhunt, and he's dead. And it's a raw 3 to 4 minute death. Like, again, you'll have info on the seed, but it might be too late. You know what he could do?
it's just brutal.
If he makes, I'm thinking of one play right now. If
Yeah.
he has the mental to make this play, realize the play, continue playing the seed, it could potentially, unironically, put him in the lead.
Are you saying
Heading
2RD?
into the, yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Is he enters the Nether on 2RD, and you can catch the lava before it starts flowing into lava housing. That would genuinely potentially save him, depending on how many pigs Lowkey gets, like a large amount of time. But it looks like Lowkey's got 3 or 4 pigs. But I mean, it would save him time, I think, if he knows where he's going. I see no issue with playing the Nether on 2RD. The only downside is you could potentially get zombie pigs in the bastion, and it just like undoes all your work of like trying to get a better route going. But
No, I love the idea. I
he
want
should
to see it.
100% try it, and it gives him some chance to get back. He would get more pigs in an optimal situation. They wouldn't be dead from the lava. Like the pigs would just be alive. So very possible, but again, I don't think it was worth the 5 minute death. I don't think it was a good
Yeah, not quite.
exchange for him, which
And
is unfortunate.
unfortunately, that definitely, if he doesn't think to do this, especially, that might be kind of just game, as long as Lowkey doesn't make any big blunders.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 13 bread. I mean, he's got 11 now because he's eating it, but that's enough food for the rest of the run. Even if he takes a lot of damage, still will be able to hunger reset in the stronghold in the portal room. 19 pearls looks like. Enough beds for 0. 1 anchor. So explosives are good. I think he will have 6 for the 0, especially if he blaze beds. 1 string away from his 7th bed.
Let's see
Got
here.
that
Does
extra
he
string.
do it? I don't think he's doing it. FOV down to 30. No, he's loading the
E-ring
bastion
again,
in.
yeah. I mean, you do have time. It did fall from the ceiling, so he does have time to like catch it, but he's not gonna 2RD. It's very weird play. It's like when are you ever running back to a bastion? When are you ever running back to a lava housing in a run? Never, right?
Yeah.
It's a ranked only play, and if you die in a lava housing seed or die in a seed in normal rank, you're just basically forfeiting. Like if you're 5 minutes behind, like just the odds of you, like I'm pretty sure like the literally like the expected value of the elo you're getting versus like queuing into another match and trying to win the next match, like it's probably just legitimately better to queue again in
Right.
certain situations, depending on who you're playing, depending on their consistency. So, what is Lowkey doing? Is he pulling back to the Bastion? Watching Quist handle this terrain, see what he's doing in a second go around to the seed, but Lowkey hurled back to the Bastion. This is not the fortress, I'll tell you that. I don't know where he's going. Is he really just trying to get a better pearl? Was he pearling backwards to try to get a better pearl? He didn't get anything from the Bastion. I think he was under the terrain and wanted to backwards pearl to hit the housing terrain to pearl up again above where he was. I mean, I don't hate the play. He used a lot of pearls, but he's got an extra 16 in his inventory as well as 28,
Yeah.
and he's just in the fort, and Quist still has lava housing. And I don't know if he knows the route that Lowkey did. So, again, didn't do the 2RD play. That was his only chance, in my opinion, of coming back, barring any run-ending Lowkey mistakes. Like, Lowkey could die in the fort, could completely botch the stronghold nav, could die in the 0. It is possible. We've seen a lot of runners die late into seeds throughout the Season 2 playoffs so far, but if it's anything like the first 2 seeds, Nerdy, this is a 3-0 sweep for Lowkey
Yeah. I
within
hate
the
to say
next
it.
few minutes.
I mean, Lowkey just has been playing very well today. I mean, not necessarily like unbelievable world record pace on any of these seeds necessarily, but these aren't the best seeds, and he's just been playing them very quickly. I'm
Yeah.
been very impressed by Lowkey today, and presuming he does go to the finals, I think he's going to be a strong contender for that first place prize.
Yeah, I mean, showing why he was rank 1 throughout Season 2.
Absolutely.
Everybody had the chance to catch up to him, and it didn't happen. So definitely proving why he is the consistency goat from these matches. I mean, I haven't found like almost any mistake other than not going for 0 on seed 2, but like he had time, knew that
I
he
don't even
didn't
know
need
if that
to. It
was a
was
mistake though, because
very,
he
very
like
hard
yeah
0. Yeah. Like I think after the mistake would be like throwing the bad pearls in the first
yeah
place.
yeah
But, like
yeah
when he's hits that second pearl and gets to 94 and it's T100, you don't really commit to it. You'd rather just half bow and get a quick perch, which is what he did, as opposed to dying and losing the seat. Like we've seen people go for risky 0s and completely die. But
hmm
I mean, yeah, I wonder even like Lowkey has just so much time and he's definitely not playing insanely quick. Like some of these decisions are a little um, slow to make. Like grabbing extra wood there was a little awkward, but he has so much time. I mean, he's already blinded. He's got 4.5 rods worth of eyes, five and a
right.
half here if he catches this one. And Quist isn't even close to leaving the Bastion. Maybe a little closer than I think. He's got some pearls, some obby. Did get some pigs trading with his variation of a lava housing route, but it is just for sure going to be too little too late.
Yeah.
There's not really much you can do. Lowkey just needs one more blaze rod, and this spawner is going so quick, and I think he just got it. So he's going to be heading to second portal chords. Has fire res up, has 4 more bread, which should still be enough for the rest of the run, and I mean, could finish this run. Quist should get in the fortress within the next minute or two. So I was going to say could finish the run before Quist even gets to the fort, but this terrain doesn't look great, and Quist looks like he's about ready to leave the Bastion, just looking for one more obsidian to get to 20, and it should be enough.
Yeah.
But he's at 19, and I think he was done with trades. Yeah, again, just not grabbing these
Oh
backup
no,
blocks.
not the same
Just
mistake.
I mean, it's not obviously the mistake that loses him the seed today, but it's
Yeah.
definitely a mistake that lost him 1 seed today. I mean, he's like I said, already basically lost this seed, barring a complete Lowkey mistake. It's out of his control. Regardless of how perfect he plays, it is out of Quist's control if he wins the seed or not at this point. But seeing him make the same mistake again after knowing that he lost seed 1 today to it, knowing he lost a seed yesterday to it as well, I don't know why you wouldn't grab the backup blocks. It's something you don't do in regular runs because it's occasionally slower depending on the route you do. If you're just doing a manhunt, your 9 gold blocks can
Sure.
finish so fast. But in ranked, it's just a 100% ranked play. You just have to get the blocks. And Quiz has played enough ranked to know that he should do that. I just don't know if it's a nerve thing today, mental decisions. Maybe he's trying to just play faster, knowing he's so far behind.
Yeah,
But
I think that's probably the idea. I think
I
that
don't
was the
know.
idea beforehand too, maybe. Of just he was like 30 seconds behind in the Bastion, just hoping to catch up by not going
Mhm.
for those backups, and it just really sort of snowballed into more problems.
Yeah, I don't know where Lowkey's going. It feels like he's been traveling to these nether portal cords for so long. And I saw him have a run in with Lava and Fire Res. Little risky. He's out of food now. So he's burned 4 bread just getting to these coordinates through
Hmm.
pearl crawling and lava fire damage. But looks like he's finally digging down on the correct chords. And if it took him this long, it's going to take Quist this long. And even if Quist was able to start measuring eyes now, he's still just like would be 30 seconds to a minute behind, which would be enough.
Yep.
Would
And
pick out for Lowkey. That's how long he's been digging. Wow.
here we go. There he is. He's in the stronghold. I think that it's possible that there was better terrain, maybe. I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but like that's the only thing that can maybe give Quist like an opportunity to catch up is if there is that terrain. But if this stronghold is really linear and Loki gets into the end, it's just not gonna be. It's gonna be too little, too late.
Yep. And the
Let's see though.
spike was a bit weird. Definitely didn't have a nice preemptive the first time around, but it doesn't look like there's too many winding paths to go down for the stronghold. And Twist did just blind on 6 rods. So making back a decent amount of time. I wouldn't say he's 4 minutes behind. I think he's played the back half of this seed better after the death, running it back. But Loki is still just so far ahead that, I mean, once he finds the portal room, if it's zeroable, it's basically over. That's the last split. Just have to hit the 0 if it's zeroable. Has a crossbow, has arrows for half bow, but struggling a bit still with this nav.
Yeah, the
And
nav is giving us some issues.
again, there's only so many ways you can go in the stronghold. At some point, you will have experienced all the stronghold has to offer, but he only has he's running out of time, for lack of a better word, until Quist catches up, and I think they are heading towards the same stronghold, so Quist could have the same trials and tribulations that Lowkey is going
Yes.
through right now, but I don't know, man. And you get in your head too when you've been in the stronghold for so long, and Lowkey really hasn't like made a run-ending mistake like Quist, and it's a 16-minute stronghold when average ranked completions for these players are 10, 11, 12 minutes on good seeds. This is not even looking to beat Forson's time at this rate, which is just not what these players are looking for in a ranked setting in the playoffs. I mean, just has no idea where the portal room is still.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like a preemptive issue, if it's a skill issue or like a just just getting bad spikes. It's hard to tell, but it definitely seems like this is the kind of thing, regardless, where, like you said, you can start getting in your head about it for just very easily. It would be very very easy to start getting in your head about,
Yeah,
I've been in the stronghold for so
100%.
long. He's gonna catch up to me. Um, whatever, and like that kind of stuff is really bad. And here we see now Quist, despite taking the 5-minute death,
Yeah.
complete reset, is now digging towards him.
And he still has to dig about 100 blocks. We saw Loki get his Z coordinate to 300 before he second portaled into the stronghold, and Quist is at 240. So
Okay.
he's got a long time to go, but Loki's out of sprint now on 7.5 hearts. So he's gonna have to find food in this chest or just deal with the no sprint or hunger reset. Looks like he's gonna hunger reset, but again, like he's traversed a lot of the stronghold, and it could genuinely be a very bad stronghold, like 10, 12, 14 rooms deep portal room. Rare, but does just happen. Not guaranteed to be close. But it is also very possible, and it happens a lot, especially as a mental thing when you're navigating a stronghold for a while, that you just missed like one turn, and it's like only 6 or 7 rooms deep. You missed one turn, and it's just right there. So it's very possible that that's what happened to Lowkey. He missed one turn or something, like just right down this hallway, but it's not another wall. And Quist is in the same stronghold.
Now, will he find it quickly? It's possible he could use the information that it's going to be like really far.
Yeah, if you've been in the stronghold for so long, it is possible that you think like, hey, oh my god, Lowkey wasn't in starter. He just checked. He was in a 5-way off of starter. So he was navigating just a slight portion of the stronghold this whole time. And I think the exact same thing happened to Quist. And he finds the portal room instantly after that. That sometimes that's all it is. I mean, it is a mistake, but honestly, I don't blame him. We never even considered that possibility when he's been running around here for 3-4 minutes. It's so uncommon that happens, that you're in a 5-way directly next to starter. The nether portal blocks the iron door escape, and even if it doesn't block it, you have to check that it's not actually starter behind there sometimes, instead of like a spiral staircase that goes into something else. So
Wow.
just an insane situation. And I think the exact same thing happened to Quist. Looks like he's seen the same subsection of the stronghold here. Yeah, and Quist is gonna have to realize that he's not at starter. He's gonna have to check.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
it's so unapparent. You just trust it. Oh, he is at starter. Wait, Quist did hit starter and he just whiffed his preemptive. That's Quist's portal. He is in starter. This is down. This is the way to the portal room.
Okay, we have a game.
I'm 99% sure the portal room is down this way. I don't fully remember. Yes, it is.
He's
If he
in.
hits the
He's
zero, it's not. I think it's doable. It's a really weird overhang, which means pearl clipping is awkward. He's just going to dig up at 56. No pearl clip here, but he's got to send it. I mean, he's so far behind.
He's going to go for it.
I think it's hittable. Ranked Dragons flyway very low. I think he can get there. If he just goes to 90, 95 is going to be stretching it. 92. Okay. No bed break. And it flew! It flew at 91. Wow, he went to 91.2 instead of 90, and it flew. And the perch, anyways, might have potentially been over regardless because of this perch.
That could
if
have
it's
been awesome.
any consolation, I think it was still over. I think this perch comes too fast from Lowkey. But shoutouts to Quist, honestly, for playing the full seed again. 5 minutes down. And literally catching up and almost winning. Insanely close.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, but these splits, like, if you look at a normal run, Nerdy, it almost looks like you took a decent ranked run and just doubled every split. is unironically what it looks like.
You're not wrong.
Usual nether enters are 1 minute, Bastion enters sub 2, Fort mid 4, Blind some nice rods mid 5, Stronghold mid 7, End enter 9xx. Like, it's just double the pace of the run, and it was lava housing, it was weird terrain, it was weird Stronghold nav. I mean, it was just a weird seed, and I think these runners were maybe very used to the comfort and like the stability and the security, of classic ranked seeds, like very well,
right.
Not very well, just like very easy to play. Like, the decisions are not everywhere. There were so many decisions on this seed. Lava housing, what your route is, getting to the fort, terrain to the stronghold was very weird, and then just the RNG that Lowkey snapped into not starter gets us a 21-minute victory. It was the same amount of content as 2 seeds in 1, so I think you guys should be thanking the runners there. The amount of gameplay we got to watch there was very pog. But if we throw it over to our bracket, if that's ready, kW1st takes the 3-0 victory over Lowkey. Is going to put him. Oh, other way around. Sorry. It's early, guys. It's early. My bad. Lowkey takes the 3-0 victory over kW1st. Sorry. Nerdy caught it before chat, so I feel less embarrassed, but that's still unlucky. And Lowkey is our first grand finals participant. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember how Lowkey did in the season 1 playoffs. I think he played in them. I think maybe not even. It was so long ago. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, for this, people in chat are saying he did, guys. I barely remember like what I did 2 days ago. Apparently, Lowkey lost to Enko Boy first round of season 1, so that could be a very interesting storyline. I mean, Lowkey either has to play Silver, the reigning season 1 champion, or Enko Boy, someone who he lost to in the season 1 playoffs. And I mean, if I'm Lowkey, I'm not looking forward to playing either one of these players coming up from the second semifinals match. I mean, a very nice 3-0 victory. Definitely the best match result that you could possibly have, but the quality of the gameplay on the last seed and like how much of it is your fault, how much of it is the seed's fault, but a 21-minute ranked completion. I'm going to check right now because we do have a lot of time to chill before our next semifinals match. Very ironic that we were extremely behind schedule yesterday. Now we are extremely ahead of schedule. But Lowkey has played what looks to be... I'm still scrolling. Lowkey has played, looks like 274 matches in season 3 already in just a couple weeks. And in the games that he's won, the slowest time I've seen so far, and I'm just scrolling through this on a website, is 15 minutes. This seed was 18 minutes and 59 seconds. I don't think he has taken more than 20 minutes on a seed in 247 games. Yeah, I think the slowest time here is 18:59. So this was his slowest win, maybe potentially ever. But at least in season 3. But doesn't matter. You beat kW1st, you beat your opponent with a 3-0, securing yourself at least $1,500, playing for potentially $3,000 if he wins the grand finals. Nerdy, what are your thoughts?
I mean, great stuff. Great stuff. You know, I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like we just saw fantastic consistency play from Lowkey, and he was first place, you know, in season 2, and now he has the chance to get first place in the playoffs. So I think overall, like, just really good stuff. And honestly, it's seriously well done to kW1st as well. Like, I think that is something that needs to be mentioned. Obviously, like, getting 3-0'd is harsh, but at the end of the day, you know, he made it into top 100, which is impressive. But then he made it into the qualifiers, which is, he made it through the qualifiers, which is very hard. So he got into this tournament. That's top 16, and then you're going against like some of the best speedrunners in the world of those top 16, right? And not only that, he caused an upset, I believe, against Raoul, which is very impressive.
In the round of 16. Raoul definitely projected by a lot of players to get to at least the round of 8, semifinals, maybe even the finals. But kW1st going really far, but that's where the underdog story ends.